Another day on the bus ride. That is life. Um, everyone, I've lived 30 years here in Southwest Florida. 30 years in the United States, just about. It's under 30 years, but I say 30 because it's close enough to 30 to count it as 30. But um, with that being said, this place sucks. Was in being born here and then staying here the entirety of my life was a waste, and there was nothing about being brought up here that would give me an advantage elsewhere, in my opinion. In my opinion, there's nothing about being brought up in Florida that would give me an advantage elsewhere if I took the first opportunity out of this state that has been a monumental waste of time living in. Living in this state has been living in this state for almost 3 decades has been an astronomical waste of time for me. I would have been much better off in many other parts of the United States. Um, it's a bad spawn, really, to talk in video game terms. I know some people like to put everything in video game terms, like that meme song, that song that became a sound in short form content, where it's the lyrics are like, "My life is like a video game." That's me, in the sense that I had a bad spawn that has put me at a disadvantage if I were looking at my life in video game terminology. I do not envy anyone raising a family in Southwest Florida, and everyone that wants to put all that on me is dumb. Everyone that wants to blame me for the misfortunes, number one, they are not there to praise my accomplishments. So this is a kangaroo court when it comes to assessing my life. My life is being assessed by a kangaroo court that does not give me anything for my accomplishments and only chastises me for things that are not my fault. So, in Southwest Florida was a bad spawn that trapped me here economically. I've been economically trapped in this state. So here's the thing: is a lot of the United States is sort of like a trap, in the sense that um, it is not easy at all to find a job that pays the standard of living, and so this place just sucks, honestly. And the rude people that occupy this state don't give me any acknowledgement for everything that I've accomplished, which is a lot. I've accomplished a lot, and everyone ignores and does not recognize the fact that I've accomplished a lot. It's quite silly, really. At the end of the day, it's very silly. My life is very silly. The way that I've been treated by the state of Florida, that's the so-called free state, the so-called free state, the so-called conservative state of Florida, the way Southwest Florida has treated me. Let me put it like this. I get treated by the so-called free state and the so-called conservative state of Florida the very way that the media and the world painted liberal throughout from about, I want to say about 2015. From about 2015 onward, the way that the right has described the left and liberals is the way that the so-called conservative state of Florida has treated me. So I've had a lackluster life experience here these 30 years. Everyone that enjoys living in the state of Florida is a fool, if you ask me. Everyone that enjoys living in the state of Florida is a fool. They run newsreels all the time. Not newsreels. They run news stories all the time about how the prison industrial complex of the state of Florida arrests people for talking on the internet. This is supposedly the mecca of conservatism, and they're arresting people here for saying things that are in poor taste about the so-called political opponents of the so-called governing political party of the state. You can't even talk out of turn about the so-called enemies of the political party that's in power. The government of this so-called conservative state will arrest you in Southwest Florida. So mind you, this is the same Southwest Florida government that has been defiant towards ICE any and every time that they've tried to do anything resembling deportation. The government of this state will, and by the government I mean like the city council or whatever, like the city managers, the government will stand in open defiance of the federal government any and every time they talk about anything even remotely resembling deportation. They did it when they did it for the brief period that the Donald Diddler administration was even pretending they were going to do something about deportations. And they have the nerve to run news stories saying that they're arresting people for talking on the internet. Like, so they're openly surveilling adults now It's not even like some open secret anymore that they're just spying on your children. Like, they're openly spying on adults, and they're now arresting people in the so-called free state of Florida, and they're running news headline stories. So when you go and watch the local news in Southwest Florida now, they're running news stories about how they are arresting grown men for what they say on the internet in regard to things that could be taken as just an edgy post 10, 20 years ago. It would have just been taken as an edgy post. Now it's a credible threat. Now it's a credible threat if you say something that would have just been considered an edgy post or Fed posting on the internet 10 years ago. Now they're running news stories saying they're arresting frail, and they're putting mugshots of frail old white men and saying we're arresting Southwest Florida residents in the free state of Florida for making edgy conservative boomer Facebook posts about how liberal protesters should have things that are politically incorrect to say happen to them. So now we're living in the world where Ron DeSantis, free state of Florida Ron DeSantis, is running a government whose police force literal Republican voter sheriffs are running sheriff's departments in the so-called free state of Florida, where they will arrest people and put your mugshot on television, edgy Facebook post.